Let's discuss Karzai's trip to Washington and what outcomes might occur with Daniel Wagner, who's managing director of the Country Risk Solutions think tank. Mr. Wagner, do you agree that this is the last chapter of the Afghan war, as Leon Panetta puts it?
It's certainly the last chapter of the war as America has known it for the last 11 years. What's really at issue here is legacy for both presidents, and not only President Obama, but also, in a sense, President Bush, who started this war in 2003. For Mr. Obama, it's a question of how much bang for his buck he can get, what resources will he be able to marshal, and how effective will it be. For Mr. Karzai, it's a question of will his legacy be intact after all of this time? Will he be able to say that they have effectively countered the Taliban, and will it be sustainable after he leaves the scene in 2014?
What do you think is the message behind Panetta's last chapter call?
Well, this is being said as Mr. Panetta is stepping out the door, if you will. Look, now in Washington, it's really a question of what politics and economics dictate. And at this stage of the game, Mr. Obama has shifted his script, if you will, from talking about a war of necessity to a war of how can we get out of this with the least amount of damage, if you will. My guess is that probably something like 5,000 to 7,000 troops would be the compromise solution at the end of the day. And it's a question of comparative advantage in terms of negotiating style. I would say Mr. Karzai probably has the upper hand here.
So far, Karzai's discussions with top American officials have created more questions than answers. Do you think this meeting with Obama will shed more light on the prospects of the U.S. mission in Afghanistan?
I do expect it will shed more light on the U.S. mission in Afghanistan for, as you say, the last chapter. Really, at the end of the day, Mr. Obama can no longer skirt this issue. The election is out of the way. The clock is ticking. So this is sort of, if you will, do or die time for both presidents. And my expectation is that we will see some meaningful dialogue going on and some meaningful conclusion at the end of the discussions in the coming days.
Washington appears inclined to withdraw most of its forces from Afghanistan, if not all, while Afghanistan seems desperate to hold on to the American contingent. Is a compromise possible here?
There will be a compromise. Let's bear in mind what's at stake here, really. In essence, what's at stake is really the legitimacy of the Western alliance over the last 11 years. We have seen the surge over the last 2 years, and the surge has not changed the strategic landscape at all. What's ended up happening is that the Taliban has not been back to the negotiating table for nearly a year. And can anyone legitimately say that having virtually increased by 50% the troop levels to 100,000 troops in the last 2 years, it's now back down to 66,000, but it didn't result in getting the Taliban to the peace table. So when you have a troop level of, say, less than 10,000, is that likely to get the Taliban to the table? My suspicion is not. And the Taliban is divided between the hardliners who want to hold out and go for an all-out victory, and those who are weary of the war and want some sort of a compromise. But if I was the Taliban, I would say, look, maybe we should hold out here, because certainly their negotiating position seems to be preferable.
Well, we'll see what happens in the next couple of days after that meeting with President Barack Obama. Daniel Wagner of the Country Risk Solution think tank, thank you for your time.